Lately I've been feeling things change. We've been working hard, no sleep, get it every day. And I swear that we ain't stopping till we pay. Yeah, the pressure on, gotta make it work. Triple play, yeah.
This is the Triple Play Fantasy Basketball Show, Week 17. I'm your host, Coach James Lewis, in the midst of middle school basketball, winners of 6 in a row. 2 weeks left in the season. I'm loving all things basketball right now. The trade deadline right around the corner, which will spice up these free agent takes.
Yes.
All-Star Game reserves named. The All-Star Game is one of my favorite weekends ever, Valentine's Day. So here we are. My buddy on the other end, representing Colorado, Mr. Jacob Dunn.
Yes, sir. Representing Colorado, home of the Colorado Buffaloes. Let's get after it, my man. Like you said, man, the fantasy basketball season is almost over, and the NBA trade deadline is next week. So, guys, be very vigilant with your moves, all right? Save up those moves until the deadline is over, because you never know.
Yeah, you might have to drop on your coffee, too, with Norman Powell coming in
Maybe.
to the Los
I would
Angeles
still
Clippers.
hold, though.
But hold for now.
Right.
Hold for now. But
hold that coffee.
Yeah, Lou likes giving heavy minutes to the players that he likes at the moment, and who knows? We'll see what the fantasy implications of our first trade of the season and in this trade window. A shout out brother Matt at die_nasty dude on Twitter for the introduction flex.
Right.
Shout out Metronome Music. Shout out at Tweezy, at Ben Bow for the vocals of that Triple Play Fantasy intro. It takes a team, and we're trying to deliver the best fantasy basketball show, period. We're going to start things off talking about schedules. There are 2 teams that play 2 games. The rest of the league plays 3 or 4. Bucks owners, Giannis Antetokounmpo owners like Jacob and myself will be disappointed, and we're going to have to find other ways to win the week, and as well as the Rockets. The Rockets only have 2 games.
Yep.
Let's talk waivers.
Let's do it.
Number 1 is kind of a safe candidate, but he's being a rebounding machine. He had 17 rebounds 2 games ago, and this past week, giving you 8 points, 12 rebounds. Like I said, that's high rebound volume for Mason Plumlee, but he's rolling. He's had 4 straight double-digit rebound games, and we know he can pass the ball, giving you 4 assists, 2 steals. It's always been high in field goal percentage, so he's a very safe pickup. He's only 55% rostered, so if you got some room on the end of your bench, you won't be mad with some Mason Plumlee.
Mason Plumlee, man, a top 100 player in points leagues. And, he's giving you those consistent points and rebounds. I like that play a lot. Very safe.
And steals. Gets his hand on things.
That's right.
Just a solid overall NBA player with that power forward and center eligibility.
Yeah.
You're looking for 3-pointers made. The guy is Reggie Bulock. You got to get hot shooters when they're shooting well, and he is confident. He's 29% rostered, but in the past week, he's giving you 19 points, 5 rebounds, but the 3 categories, what we're looking at, 4.5 threes a game and close to 2 steals.
Love that. Love that, man. He's heating up for sure. I like that play a lot. Now, he's streaky, but you got to ride the wave while it's at its height right now. So stream that man, add that man, especially with Tim Hardaway Jr. out for the season.
Big extra tidbit there.
That's right. Darius Bazley. All right. Darius Bazley has been a top 100 fantasy contributor over the past week, averaging 11.5 points, 7.8 boards, 0.8 steals, and 1.5 blocks while shooting 47% from the field. Now, I don't expect the shooting percentage to stay that high, but he's always been a consistent points, rebounds, and blocks contributor. And he's getting a lot of minutes on this young Thunder team. So if you need those stats, points, rebounds, and blocks, then give Bazley a look.
And again, these percent rostered and last week percentage, this is all based on Yahoo as of February 5th. We've said this before in the past, but if you're new to the pod, you're new listening in, just keep in mind that these are Yahoo rostered numbers.
Yep, that's right.
All right, I'm gonna go with Jaxon Hayes. Right now, he's starting at power forward, so let's try to see if his position eligibility flexes from just center to center slash power forward. They're putting him on the court with Jonas Valanciunas. They threw this lineup out against Cleveland. As you know, they run three bigs, and so it matched up well. But then they repeated this again, and Jaxon Hayes produces high rebound numbers. He blocks shots and he shoots high percentage when he gets time. So Jaxon Hayes in the past week, he had a game where he had 19 points and 7 rebounds. That was against Cleveland. Like I said, he had 3 blocks. Then he had 22 points and 11 rebounds at Denver just last night. So Jaxon Hayes is worth a pickup this week. He's only 9% rostered. There's like nobody's hit.
Always love that guy. I love his stats. I love those big man stats. And now that he's starting, he's almost a must add, but just keep your eye on him just to make sure that he continues to start. But I believe he's only starting because Josh Hart is out. But hey, as long as Josh Hart is out, Jaxon Hayes is going to eat.
Yes, absolutely. He is in there because of Josh Hart. So, you got to watch when people go down. People benefit from injuries.
That's right. Javonte Green, guys, he's my number one pickup of the week. All right, Javonte Green has been a top 50 fantasy asset over the past week and a top 60 contributor over the past month with the averages of 11.6 points, 4.1 boards, 1.4 steals, and a block while shooting a scorching 59% from the field. All right, Green is a must-add in all leagues while Lonzo Ball is on the shelf, which is another 3 to 4 weeks at the least. So add this man. All right, I beg of you. All right, do your fantasy team a favor and add him. He contributes everywhere with low turnovers. Love it.
And what a glue guy. He plays all
Absolutely.
positions. Look at all these flexibility, point guard, shooting guard, small forward. He plays a little power forward out there and does a little bit of everything. And
that's right.
These glue guys in the
Bulls,
NBA,
man.
You need them.
The Bulls, man, they're just hitting on all these bench guys with Ayo and with Javonte Green. I mean, they're doing it well. They're almost like the Miami Heat with all of these hidden gems on their bench.
Yeah, and we told you to pick Ayo up a couple weeks
right.
ago, and he hasn't disappointed, man. That kid just has winning ways, how he affects the game. Love watching Ayo DeSomo just take the league by storm.
That's right.
As a young rookie.
Yes.
He's on fire.
Moving on to players getting advantages because of injuries, and the Indiana Pacers probably are the most injury-riddled team in the NBA right now. Their big men are out. Right. Malcolm Brogdon, we all know that ordeal and disappointment, and you might have to let go of Malcolm Brogdon because this Achilles thing is something to very worry about. When he comes back, he plays one game, and then he's on the shelf.
Exactly.
So it's very, very disappointing because I own him in both leagues, and he's just a great fantasy contributor when he's healthy. Terry Taylor, he's playing power forward, really, but they got him shooting guard, small forward. He's a rebounding machine. In this last week, in Indiana loves him. He's got a great feel for the game of basketball. Last week, 16 points a game, 10 rebounds, almost 3 assists, 60% from the field. He hit you a 3. Against Chicago, he had 21 points, 14 boards, 5 assists. And then against Orlando, of course, everybody's favorite matchup when we're talking about fantasy. Right. He had 24 points, 16 boards, and 3 assists. So he's dishing it out a little bit, but he's becoming a rebounding machine over there in Indiana.
A top 60 player over his last 3 games. It's insane. He is averaging, like you see there, a double-double. All right. And with 60% field goal shooting. All right, he is on his 10-day contract, like a two-way contract because of all of these injuries. And Brissett even returned last night, but Terry Taylor got all those minutes still. So I'm not sure if they're just easing O'Shea Brissett into the rotation or if Terry Taylor has usurped him. Like, I'm not sure, but all of my O'Shea Brissett stocks are shaking right now because it feels like Terry Taylor, Isaiah Jackson, like all these guys are ahead of him. You know, like Rick Carlisle wants to see what he has in these two-way guys, especially with the Pacers, the 13th seed in the Eastern Conference. These guys are going to get a lot of run, and Terry Taylor is the main benefactor of that right now. So ride the wave.
And when your coach says, quote, he was tremendous, he's got a great feel for the game. He knows who he is. He knows his strengths. He plays to them. He's a very unique player.
Love it.
He's worked extremely hard to get to this opportunity in the NBA and making the most of his minutes. Like when your coach is glowing about you, you gotta at least give him a look. And when you're rebounding at this clip, shout out Terry Taylor,
Shout out.
and shout out Duane Washington Jr., who quietly has produced very well since Brogdon is out. And last week he's averaging 15 points, 4 rebounds, nearly 4 assists, 3 3-pointers a game. Like that's rosterable in any league. He's shooting guard, small forward, eligible, does a little bit of everything, and he's a guy that you can find in all leagues. So Duane Washington Jr., while Malcolm Brogdon is out, you gotta give him a look.
Love it.
Hassan Whiteside, this isn't gonna last long, but hear me out. He'll play Monday if you're winning your league and you want to use one of those last pickups on a Sunday. Pick him up. You got Monday, and then who knows when Gobert comes back. But when Hassan Whiteside plays, he rebounds. He blocks shots. He shoots a high percentage, and those type of categories win you leagues, and you can find them in 69% of leagues. So Hassan Whiteside for a Sunday pickup for a Monday play.
Yes, stream away.
All right, I'm sending this to Jacob.
Criminally under rostered players. All right, guys. These are guys rostered in less than 50% of Yahoo leagues. And first up is Monte Morris. All right, what more can we say? All right, he contributes in points, low-end boards, and those dimes, all right, with a high field goal percentage and those threes. And he chips in with steals. So he doesn't really hurt you in any category, all right? Like the field goal percentage, like it goes in waves, but he contributes consistently in dimes. So I would definitely stream him for as long as he is the starting guard in Denver.
I mean, to me, this is a safe play. These are season stats.
That's right.
13 and 4 assists, nearly 2 threes a game and a steal.
Love it.
Guy that's hot, rookie.
Yes.
Gotta love his game. Davion Mitchell is hitting a 3.
Davion Mitchell was one of my favorite streamers going into this week. And to be a favorite streamer of mine, you have to be rostered in less than 30% of leagues. And this guy's already at 48% because he is just on fire. He is taking off as the starting guard for De'Aaron Fox. Now, De'Aaron Fox has missed the last 7 games. So it could be any day that he comes back. But that's not 100% certain, especially with the NBA trade deadline this week. So Davion Mitchell at least has a few more games to be dominant. All right, and look at those stats. I mean, almost 20 points per game, 2 boards, 5.5 dimes, shooting almost 50% from the field with 2.5 threes. All right, 5 straight with 2 threes. All right, so like that, this man is on fire and needs to be streamed everywhere, as you guys already are doing. But that is 52% of Yahoo leagues he is available in, and you need to stream this man, because what if the Kings make a trade and he is the de facto starting guard for the rest of the season? All right, so you need to stream him and hold him until the trade deadline to see what happens. But even if nobody gets traded in Sacramento, which is highly unlikely because they've made everyone available, but hold him just to see if he can keep this up, because he is a very talented guard.
And it was questionable whether his 3-point percentage from his last year in college was going to transfer over to NBA, and to start the season, he wasn't making anything, and now he's hitting the threes, and that confidence is rolling. Last time we saw him, he had 26 points, 8 assists, 3 threes against Golden State. So from one grindy guard that's going to guard you full court to a veteran that is just all about winning and is bringing that culture to Minnesota, Pat Bev.
Yeah, I'll admit Pat Beverly has been maddening because of that groin injury, keeping him out of random games and stuff. So he has been a headache, but when he is playing, he is a 9-cat stud. Mm-hmm. He produces all across the board with low turnovers and a high field goal percentage. As you can see there, 50% from the field with 2.5 threes. So he doesn't hurt you anywhere, but he only helps you everywhere. So he is a 9-cat stud. He just has to stay healthy. So if he is available and while he's healthy, add this man and stream him.
And a high assisted guy, and we know how hard that is to come by. A safe pick, somebody that's under roster, that's Gary Harris. 21%. but he's got 6 straight games and going double digits, and he's been
Love it.
featured on the show before. Shooting guard, small forward, eligible in Orlando. He's given the opportunity, and he shoots a high percentage at 48%. 3.3 threes a game in the last week. I don't know why people don't want to get him, but last time we saw him, he had 22 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, and hit 6 threes with 2 steals. So please, people, get hit. Pick up some Gary Harris.
You want those guys getting consistent 3 and D stats, and that's Gary Harris. Corey Joseph, CoJo. He's been starting over the past few games, all right, and he is getting you those assists. All right, though these stats here are over the last 2 weeks, but he has been great over the past 2 games where he is starting. Now, I know he is only starting because Cade Cunningham is out right now with a hip injury, and he's due any day. But even if Corey Joseph goes back to the bench, he is a reliable veteran point guard who is going to get 20-plus minutes and can contribute in points and rebounds at the least, but also give you quiet boards, quiet steals. So I would definitely look his way if you need some low-end point guard help.
And I'm disappointed in Kelly Olynyk, man. I thought I got on top of it, and he had 2 duds this week. He's not playing with Jeremy Grant, but we'll see what happens with the trade market. He's probably the hottest name going around. We'll see. He wanted to go to Detroit so he can get the opportunity. He took that by storm, but I know that all the contending teams want a player like him to be like fourth fiddle, and it could turn the meter. I know Chicago has their eyes on him, and it's just being talked about. But he didn't like that role in the Nuggets. I don't know, something to watch, and he's the big name that a lot of people are trying to get.
Yes.
So speaking of watching, watch that Tre Mann kid. He had 29 points and hit 6 threes on Dallas a couple days ago, last week, giving you 17 points. But when he sees the ball go in the basket, he's not afraid to shoot. He's only shoot 39%. But at the same time, Oklahoma City, watch him for streaming at least.
Yeah.
You could get a good stream day. It's like Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas will give you 30 and then give you 2 for it. It just depends on the matchup that we have, but keep an eye on Tre Mann. He's only 11% rostered. Ziaire Williams is starting with Dylan Brooks out. I don't know why he's only 3% rostered. I think that is honestly criminal. That is super criminal.
Starting.
And he's just got a good feel. He's got a nice IQ. He's hitting a 3. Giving you some rebounds, passing. He fits in this Memphis Grizzlies team, which just seemed to hit every single draft pick that they get. So keep an eye on Ziaire Williams, and I wouldn't be mad if you pick them up.
Absolutely. Josh Richardson, guys, we all know that what he's done in the past, and he's kind of slowed down in his career over the past few years. But Richardson has scored in double digits over his past 4 games, averaging 14 points, 2.5 boards, 2.5 threes, 1.3 dimes, while shooting 57.6% from the field. All right. He's also averaging 25 minutes a night during that span and needs to be streamed in all leagues while he's hot.
Yeah, I'm just not a fan of Richardson's production outside of points. We'll see what happens with the trade deadline too. He could be a guy that's on the move, but these numbers in the last week are serviceable. Yeah, but I've just never been a big fan of Josh Richardson fantasy wise since he's left Miami, because they used to put the ball in his hands. He used to get a lot more dimes.
I get that, man. He used to be an elite 3 and D guy with those dimes. He still has that in him, but he's not getting the minutes, and he's not as good as he was in Miami. But he has that in him, and as long as he's getting 25 minutes a night, he's definitely streamable.
Yeah, and we'll see what team, because I feel like he could be a good fit on maybe say the Lakers, because they need a perimeter defenders, and
you sure do.
I don't know. I just think Boston needs to shake it up. I don't know if it's the big 2 that needs to be shaken up, but something needs to happen. And speaking of, we got to talk about this. This Al Horford guy. I'm not saying he shouldn't be rostered, but by 80% of leagues, when in the last month, which is a large sample size, he's only giving you 7 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists. That's serviceable around the board. He's playing a little bit better recently, but he was super, super hot at the beginning of the season, and fantasy owners were like glowing, like because they got him late in their rounds, but
Right.
he just really hasn't been producing well. So if you need to hit a drop and you're contemplating, you got a Horford on your roster, shoot, I would pull the plug.
We know that blocks are rare, and Horford does give you those blocks at least, but he's just not very consistent in any other stat area except for low end points and rebounds. So especially with the trade deadline coming up, don't hesitate to drop Al Horford if there's more upside in a potential trade. If you want to swing for the fences and it's like, oh, I don't know who to drop. Horford can be that easy drop for you. But if you are desperate for blocks, then I would definitely hold on to him if you are absolutely desperate. But if you're not, then he is a drop.
We were hoping that he was going to help change that culture in
I
Boston,
know, right?
or like just kind of bring leadership. And it's still, they just seem soft, and they're not playing up to the standard when you have two superstar wing players and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum.
Right.
Oh, well, I digress.
Hamidou Diallo. I love this man. All right. Diallo started the last game for the injured Cade Cunningham and produced 21 points and 14 boards and a steal and a 3 while going 8 for 17 from the field. I say he is a must stream for as long as Cade is out with his hip injury. And also hold until the trade deadline if you can, just to see if Jeremy Grant does get shipped out. Because when Jeremy Grant was out, Hamidou Diallo ate. All right, he was a top 50 player in both 9-cat and points league. So if Jeremy Grant gets shipped out and no one crazy comes back for Detroit, I would imagine that the Pistons want just draft picks just so that they can tank, and give all these young guys some run because they love Diallo. He's young, so they want to give him run with Cade Cunningham. So I would hold Diallo if you have him through the trade deadline just to see if Grant does get shipped, and it does sound like he is going to get shipped because he is one of those names getting a lot of buzz. So Diallo can pop when he's getting the minutes and starting.
Yeah, it was interesting, kind of rotationally speaking, what happened with him after, giving you 25 plus for
Right.
three straight games. And then, some people come back and he doesn't quite get that same opportunity.
Right.
But he's a guy that when he does play minutes, he produces at a high level. So I don't know. But I want to see something shaking up and maybe him play a little bit more.
Absolutely.
This guy's back, Zach Collins. Oh, my goodness. 540 days away. He gets put in 13 minutes. It says 3, but he had 10 points, 7 rebounds. They had given to him on the block. He was giving Alfred, Şengün, Fitz, couple dimes. But he looked like he hadn't missed a beat. And this player, Zach Collins, could really be beneficial on a fantasy roster going forward. And he's somebody to really take a strong look at if he starts getting a lot more minutes, because he's just a fine overall basketball player, and he was a promising young player for Portland before he signing with San Antonio and having all these injuries.
Right. I mean, he was very promising back in his days at Gonzaga. He was a promising prospect, and now he's been out for almost 2 years. So we all kind of forgot about him, but he played 13 minutes last night and showed us why he has all this upside. So if he can keep getting those minutes, like ramping up those minutes into the 20s, he can definitely be a league winner, like produce you those top 150 numbers at least at the end of your bench. That's gold.
And now it's time for our player of the week.
How?
Starting with Trae Young. Oh, I like when he gets the shivers. I think he was here 2 weeks ago when he dropped 56, but he had 43 and 6 threes against Phoenix, and Phoenix had won 11 in a row. And hey, they're the best team in basketball this whole season. Last week's stats, giving 34 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 55% from the field, and shooting 3.3 threes a game. That high field goal percentage, that high assist rate. You gotta love Trae Young if you picked him up, and he could be winning you statistics all around. He gets to the free throw line. He makes more almost than anyone in the league. So shout out Trae Young.
Man, Ice Trae is doing this all with a bum shoulder. All right. Imagine if he was healthy, he'd be averaging 50 points a game. Am I right?
I gotta point this out. I think he's one of the most clutch players in the league. You give him the ball, he's ready for the moment. Nothing rattles this guy.
Never, dude. He's awesome, man. Ice in his veins. I love it.
So one baby point guard to the point guard, Chris Paul.
CP3, guys. He is coming off monster games. I mean, against the Spurs earlier this week, he had 20 points, 19 assists, and 8 boards. He almost had a triple-double with 20 points and 20 dimes. I mean, this guy at age 36 is still the point god. All right, 36 years old. He is defying age. He is defying father time. All right. Chris Paul, just look at those eyes. I mean, he is a determined man and wants that fantasy title. He wants that championship. And there's no one more who I want to see get a ring than Chris Paul right now in the NBA.
Yeah, and I'm with you on that. And the way he just manipulates the basketball game with 5 minutes and under, and Devin Booker's on the same page. He's made every single player on every team that he's ever been on better.
100%.
And he also makes you want to take a look at your diet, because as he changed his diet and the way he's eating, he's extending his playing time and he's maybe playing his best basketball of his career.
Yeah, absolutely. And point guards themselves don't have a super long shelf life unless you are an absolute freak, and that's Chris Paul. And you know, like, he is a freak, yes, but he's also watching his diet, like you said, and that takes a lot of discipline. So back to CP3.
Yeah, and we saw that Tom Brady just retiring. The discipline of how he eats is going to be followed going forward, and these athletes they take the blueprint of what's great and they extend it, and that's why you got to love sports.
Love it.
Because it always progresses.
That's right.
Shout Fantasy Points Media. I just got to shout out all the other players that make our system run here at Triple Play Fantasy. Doc, David, Kevin, Art, Brad, Johnny. Like always, love the game of basketball. We'll be hitting you next week, week 18. I think we're in the 75% already done. So trade deadline is going to spice things up, and we'll give you the hot takes for next week. As for Jacob, I'm Coach James Lewis, and we'll see you next week. Stay safe. Continue to wear the mask, even though the number's going down. It's not over yet, but we'll survive.
Cheers.